More.
Thinking about work.
Sure.
Yeah, thinking about when you're stressing.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Pleasure Pulse. I'm your host, Roma Richardson, and I'm so happy that you have joined me for another episode. Last week, we talked about the psychological and emotional sides of post-Valentine's. So we talked about things like fear, about guilt, about abandonment, and other emotions. We also talked about love and other positive emotions that might be associated with Valentine's and the post-Valentine's period. So tonight I wanted to speak more about the physical outcomes or physical effects of the post-Valentine's period, focusing specifically on sexual health. So I am joined here by my two guests whom you saw last week, and I promise you this is a new show. This is not the same as last week's show. We just did some effective recording to be able to get two programs during one time. And so I'm going to ask my guests to introduce themselves still, just in case you are watching for the first time.
I am Lucine Pemberton Vaughan, health educator and counselor in the National AIDS Secretariat within the Ministry of Health.
I am Dr. Matthias Ofrey, the National AIDS Program Coordinator, National AIDS Secretariat in the Ministry of Health.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me again for another show. So last week we talked about some of the psychological and emotional sides of post-Valentine's. At this point, folks have had some time to process their emotions like fear, regret, abandonment, neglect, any of those, or love, any of those feelings. And now people might be able or prepared to move into questions that they might have about physical health. So let's focus on that tonight. What does the Ministry of Health look like after big moments? Actually, it's something I always wonder, and because in my head, I'm not even necessarily a statistics person, but I just imagine that certain things happen a particular way. And in my head, after Valentine's Day, you have an influx of people. Is that really what happens? Is it similar to Carnival, a music fest, and so on? Is Valentine's a big moment for the ministry?
Yes, actually, we have strategic screening months that mostly fall out most times big events like this. All right, so we know that after Carnival, what's it called Valentine, right? People are.
I think they want us to pause. Maybe, I don't know if it's to fix your mic. You need help?
I
Falling
see
down?
it, but it looked like the brassiere strap.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I see the black thing down
Yeah,
here.
it
It
look
looked like
like-
my brassiere
No,
strap.
ain't your brassiere.
Yeah, but people might think that is the brassiere too. So I was
Okay, I
trying.
fix it now.
Sorry.
Yeah, sit now.
So you can hear her? Because your mic inside
No,
your dress,
don't
that's
put
where you want it?
Yeah, that's good. It's just the card was
Okay.
hanging out because
Yeah.
I realized.
It look like a
but I
brother
was just
stuff for
waiting
real.
for a chance to come in.
I thought was my brassiere.
No, your brassiere, sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's
But
there,
can
yes.
you see? Good.
No, it's okay.
All right. So where we start?
Yes. People retired, I'm ready to go home. I realized.
Then flies, almost 4. But it's okay.
It was just meant to be an hour and a half.
It's okay.
That didn't work out quite
That's
as well,
why
but okay.
I'll work
Okay.
together for God.
So I will ask you. I'll ask you the question. Okay. Yeah, so is Valentine's a big moment for the Ministry of Health?
It is a big moment as other moments like Carnival, like music fest and all of those bigger events. We know that sometimes, despite the preaching that we do in respect to the fact of people being health conscious, protecting themselves, people still sometimes become very lackadaisical in respect to their health. And as such, wrong decisions, are being taken, and as such, that alone build up fear, and as such, that alone makes us have an influx of people trying to get the status, and that also gives us an opportunity to actually provide even more adequate counseling for them, because there is a time duration, what we call the window period for testing, which is 2 to 3 months, where the body produces a protein which we call antibody, that our test can detect whether it's positive or negative.
And this is specific for
and
HIV.
this is specific for HIV, right? So we have March, which is the first quarter of our testing program, right? So it's December, January, February, March, right? Carnival, so March. We're looking at getting the screening done. All right, so people coming in, get the screening done to ensure that they are, they know their status, and as such, even let's say for example, persons that are predisposed to the infection, are connected to treatment and placed on treatment, and ensure that they provide all the services that we can provide. And so the next we have is June, and June is also acknowledged as a regional HIV testing day. All right, and the following one is National Testing Day in acknowledgement of the Independence Day in St. Kitts, which is September, right? And then World AIDS campaign comes in, which it runs through the month of December. So in March, we'll be having an outreach testing, a big outreach testing in March. But however, this testing, HIV testing, is done in all the health centers in the Federation, all right, including the National AIDS Secretariat, which is in the Ministry of Health office, and we also have at GNF, at the hospital, which is at the OPD, all right? So with that, we have different channels where people can actually access this health testing, and it is, those major areas I just indicated are big time for us, and we have an influx of people coming in to know the status, which is a plus, but we also encourage people to be more health conscious.
Okay. I guess you kind of alluded to the fact that you do see an increase in visits and testing after Valentine's Day. So we always kind of talk about September babies, because September babies are the manifestation of Carnival and New Year's Day excitement and so on. Are there a lot of November babies from Valentine's?
I don't know the statistics on that, but I want to believe that yes.
That they are.
They are. I have come across a whole lot of November bonds. September
So that
bonds.
means I'm a love child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why I'm so loving.
Perhaps.
So yeah, we have a whole lot of them there, in the Federation, and as such, yeah, I would say that's what we have available, and then we use the opportunity to ensure that people at least know their status, even if you may, sometimes it's just mistakes, and sometimes due to the fact that they lack the adequate knowledge on how to properly use a condom, and that could lead to breaking of condoms or something, or slipping up on all of the stuff. So it gives them opportunity for them to know their status and also get more informed decision about, more updated information that can actually agitate an informed decision.
Yeah.
But when I see people come to me, Valentine's Day was Friday, right? And by Monday morning, they're coming to me with fear in their eyes. And this happens all the time. They wanting to know what are the repercussions of their actions. And I have to tell them that they have to wait for 3 months. But I think that it is a good idea, though, of knowing where you stand now and before. Because if after that 3 months you are found to be positive, we want you to know the near exact time when you would have gotten infected. So knowing your status, then if you were negative, by the time the 3 months come and you're positive, then you can gauge, okay, well, oh, that was Valentine's night, and exactly who it would have been
with.
Yes,
And
so
just
that
like pregnancy.
we can do
Just
the
like pregnant,
contact, yeah,
just like pregnancy.
the contact tracing.
Yeah, which is important. And I think, I mean, we're talking about, both of you work in the Ministry of Health broadly, and talking about HIV and STDs, it's difficult but necessary, right? And there is so much that can be done if you are found to be positive now, right? So that fear and concern, you know, whether it is an STD, whether it is fear of, you know, unintended pregnancy, it's valid, but it's not a marker of the end of the world.
Of course.
Right? So it's like, this thing has happened. This mistake was made. There is a path to deal with this mistake that has happened, right? You know, it is not the end, or it doesn't have to be the end of my world. So there may have been some unprotected sex, you know, during Valentine's, because I just feel like if you're a woman, especially having sex with men, at some point you're going to come across someone who is insistent on not using condoms, or who is insistent on misusing condoms. You might find somebody who initially agrees to use a condom and then, unbeknownst to you, removes the condom during sex. So there is so much that happens. What should be people's next step? I know you said Monday they come to you concerned and fearful. What would you say if you realize, you know, during Valentine's Day that something happened that you didn't intend to happen? What is my next step?
All right. When something like that happens, of course, as I said, we're always available for counseling. We provide counseling. Of course, people come in and say, oh, Miss Vaughn, I would like to get tested, or Dr. Frey, can you please help me test? We will create a room for counseling and make them understand that this is a exposure period, or this is the window period where you can get tested to get an adequate result, all right, the right result for the test. Because if you are exposed and you get tested, show negative, it's not the real fact of what you've been exposed to, or the real fact of the result that we are expecting to see. So it gives us an opportunity to get you to counsel the person. So it's okay, you can always come. I understand the fear, but come to have a conversation with us. We counsel you to, you know, reduce the fear, you understand, and also encourage you to give you a scheduled time where you can come and get tested. But even before that, we have to look at it. What can we do to actually eliminate that fear? We accept that some persons don't want to use condom at all. Some persons, you know, don't know how to properly use the condom. That's why for women, we have female condoms. You understand? So if the men, I feel like they want to act, some men want to act smart and tell you, no, I'm not going to use, you know, I don't know how to properly use it or something, or they take it off, as you rightly indicated, in the act of sexual intercourse, because at that time, you're all extremely excited, all right? And if you're not careful, you may not even know when he removes it, right? So, but the female condom, the female will insect it herself inside, and it can be in her body for up to 8 hours. And guess what? It is 40 times stronger than the male condom. So at the end of the day, she is protected, because she put it herself and she will take it out herself. All right, so that's why we have the options of people using both either the male condom or the female condoms. But if you are exposed, for example, you make a wrong decision by having unprotected sex, or it happens that it breaks, you can always reach out to us. You can reach out to us through 664-2939 or 467-1234. I repeat, 664-2939 or 467-1234. And then we will have a conversation. In other words, organize a time, set a time, schedule a time with you that you can come and we'll have a conversation to ensure that, you know, we put you in the right path to ensure you're okay.
And then, if you can't reach us, you can visit your nearest health center. And there are nurses there that you can speak to and get the other tests as well, because you may be HIV negative, but then you have gonorrhea,
STIs.
you have herpes,
Syphilis.
you know, so you have to really examine the whole aspect of STIs.
And knowing that your status is the only way that you can get
Yes.
treatment.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not sure,
Right.
if you don't know, you know, you can't treat what you don't know about.
And
Precisely.
then
Yeah.
some people have symptoms, you know, burning,
Itching.
pain, itching, the pustules. But some people really have no symptom at all. So if you know that you were involved in any form of risky behavior, then the only responsible thing left to do is
To do
go and
screening.
get tested.
Yeah, even if you don't
Have any symptoms.
Yes.
Got it. And this also applies to this perhaps mistake, let's just say, you know, something unintended. It also applies to pregnancy, right? So if there's a possibility of unintended pregnancy, they can also come to the Ministry of Health for support and guidance.
Yes, in respect to, let's say, some persons or an individual is exposed, not exposed.
Exposed to pregnancy.
You know, not
Exposed is a good
exposed.
word.
Yeah.
So you're exposed to pregnancy.
if it happens that they actually have they entangled or find themselves, you know, they had carried out a risky behavior and they find out that they're pregnant, it's okay. As I indicated, in the National Secretariat, in the Ministry of Health, in all the health centers, also the hospitals, there are people you can actually talk to and they can counsel you adequately to ensure that they put in the right path to make sure that you get all the help that you need. Just like, let's say somebody comes to the National Secretariat and they're talking to my colleague over here, and all she could possibly do is to counsel the person and then perhaps link the person to a different care, like let's say a gynecologist that could take it from there to ensure that both the mother and the pregnancy, you know, the child, the fetus is okay. You know, that alone is connection to continuous services. You know, that's what we can do.
But we don't do pregnancy tests so often.
Okay.
No, we don't. We would definitely lead you,
So you would
connect you to an
refer
area, refer you to
someone.
an area that way
Okay.
you can get all those things done.
Okay.
At ease.
Like the clinics.
Over the counter too.
And health centers. All right, and of course, pregnancy tests you can get it over the counters and over the counter
Yeah.
items you can get and check it
Pharmacy.
yourself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So pharmacies can also help you with emergency contraception if that is
Yes.
what you require.
Precisely.
Okay. So let's talk about STDs. That is like your bread and butter. Not to describe it like that, but kind of. What are some common ones that you see in your day-to-day, and some myths and facts about them? And we don't have to go too much into detail because we have had this conversation a few times. I feel like I've had it with you, I've had it with nurses and so on, but it's always important to keep giving the information. So what are some of the common STDs
Good.
you see and myths and facts about them?
Chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis.
Yes.
I heard that it was on the rise too.
Herpes. Herpes is also, we have a lot, in fact, yes, there's an increase in herpes as well. And some of these infections like this some of them are asymptomatic, as my colleague rightly indicated before. You only know most times when you get tested, and sometimes when you have a breakout, that's when you can actually indicate whether or not. And like gonorrhea, it could be asymptomatic for a very, very long time, especially for females. All right, so that's why we encourage that people actually get tested. When you're doing your general checkup, check everything. When you do a risky behavior, check everything. And mostly, it's free, right? It's free in the health center.
At
So
the clinics,
why
you
not
could get
get it done?
almost a total, complete panel, full panel.
Yeah.
One of the myths is if you look clean and smell clean, you are clean.
Yes.
So I've had clients who say, "She good man, I put on my light to make sure that
Everything.
and a scout out the land and the area clean. She doesn't have any rash or any outbreaks, and so she is good to go." And we are saying that that is a myth, especially where herpes is concerned, sometimes you're on the treatment,
Can be recessive.
and so you don't have an outbreak now, but it is still inside of your blood because you know that there is no cure. So yes, you can still be infected. Yeah.
And the other myth is when you are in a healthcare profession, you're automatically clean. So because I'm a doctor or you are a nurse,
in a relationship with a doctor,
yes,
they
you
have
just feel
healthy
automatically they are good.
practices and-
No, because I understand that, yes, we know, but sometimes people know what don't do, right? And all our advice, anybody, is whether you are with a healthcare provider or not, your health is your responsibility. Ensure that they get tested. Let's say also you are you are a pastor or a priest or anything. That is not a license for purity, because sometimes people don't even know that they have it, because HIV, for example, HIV can be in somebody's body for 10 years. Somebody said, no, I have not been intimate for the past 10 years, so I clean, I good. No. It could be in your body for up to 10 years and you don't even know. So the only way you can know is to get tested. The only way another person can protect themselves is to use condom and protect, or abstain or use condom. Because I'm telling you this, it doesn't matter whether you are a bishop, an apostle, a prophet, a prophetess, a doctor, a nurse, or a director, or doesn't matter.
No respect of person.
It doesn't matter, and it is not makeup that you could see on the face. I am telling you, there's some persons that are infected that look so healthy. They look healthier than some persons that are not. You understand? And they are on medication as such. That alone will bring down the viral load so low. All right? And there are some people that are not even on medication because they don't know their status. And as such, they feel they are fine, but they are not fine in the blood. You can't see it in the blood. So it's a myth. So that's why we're encouraging people that do not get carried away by their appearance. And sometimes one of the next myth is somebody lost a lot of weight, so you must be very sick. No, it could be a lifestyle change, diet change, and as such, a person loses a lot of weight. And because of that, does not mean they are ill or they have HIV or they are sick.
Another myth is that my partner got tested for HIV, so I'm
I don't
good.
have to get tested.
And that is not the case. We have what is called the discordant couples, where one has it and the other may not. So your status is really your status. It does not
It's
reflect.
not our status.
No.
Right. Yes.
And that's why when we are doing the testing, we do it individually. You might come as a couple, but when you're being screened and you're cancelled as an individual, right? So it's important that you know that it's your responsibility, it's your life, and you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Another myth. Those government institutions, they are not confidential. So,
Well, you know, I had a question about that.
Oh,
so you
I
want
had
me
a
to wait?
question. Myths around the health system.
Okay, well, let me wait,
We're gonna
yeah.
wait. We're gonna wait. Okay. Do you have any other myths and facts that you want to share around STD? I also appreciate these ones that you are giving because they're specific to our context. So they're not just physiological or
No.
biological myth. It's like cultural myths.
Yes.
I
Right.
appreciate that. So God, yes.
and somebody, in fact, we were on radio some time ago, and somebody said that that there's the that there's STIs in
In
the
the condom.
condoms. You understand? That makes absolutely no sense, because that is what we're using to protect. And some of them say, oh, the medication they're using to suppress the virus on its own, it has the virus in it. So all of that, if you see now analyze it, some of those myths are really not something you could pay attention to, because it makes absolutely no sense, no logical sense.
Another myth is that I am just putting it on the outside. I'm going to
not even
wait
a myth.
until I wait. No, because they think that
If you just
once
put
it
it on
is
the
on the
outside.
outside, you are safe. And so we are saying that is not true, because some of these STIs, you can get them on mere contact. They don't even, you don't even have to penetrate, like HPV. Another one is he did not ejaculate in me, I pull out because they hear that HIV is in the semen, but it's also in the precum. So all that was there before and the leaking juices to lubricate, yes, so you don't have to wait until he ejaculates, and as soon as there is any contact, your condoms should be on already.
Of course, and the last one I have to say is, I am married, so I good.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I am married, so I good.
That's not a myth, but that's a deception.
So I am married, so I good. And the thing is, marriage, as my colleague always said, marriage is not a condom. You understand? We've had discordant couples, people that one is exposed and one is not. You know, and yes, it's good to trust, but we also have to apply wisdom. Being intimate alone is a risk on its own. You know, and we say STIs are being transmitted through trust. I trust my husband, I trust my wife, I trust my wife. And then you don't know what they're doing. All right, so that's why we encourage people. Yes, it's good to have a sense of trust. So you won't, you know, affect yourself mentally, but give space for human error. Ensure that you get tested. Both of you are trying to be more health conscious. Ensure that you get tested. If you can apply the use of condom as well, you can introduce that as well into your relationship and ensure that you get tested to know your status.
I had one more, but menopause seemed to have taken it away. Can't remember it, but if I remember.
If it comes back to you, of course, you can feel free to share it. And picking up on what you talk about marriage, this is just a question that I'm curious about because I can never get access to statistics. I don't know what obtains, but I know globally married women are among, you know, the highest risks groups for contracting HIV and all that. Does that apply here as well?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we tend to think that we are in safe relationships. But I also say, I cannot tell you what to do in your marriage, but I'm here to remind you that any unprotected sex act is a risk. And it must be one that you must be willing to take along with the consequences. For nobody gives you HIV or any of that sort. You took it. You knowingly.
That's an interesting framing we're going to.
Well, because you have the choice to protect yourself, then it means that you would have said, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, unless of course you don't. Like if it's, you know, a relationship where there are power imbalances, and we're not talking about those relationships.
I'm
we're
talking about one that
all things being equal.
Right.
Yeah. So when you do, and it's just like pleasure, right? You know, we talk about being responsible for your own pleasure. Like nobody else is responsible for your own pleasure. It's similar. You would hope that your partner is concerned about your health, your pleasure, and so on, and so will do what is necessary to keep both of you safe. But ultimately, you are the one who, you have to keep yourself safe.
I don't know if this is a myth, but I hear all the time I have one partner.
Oh yeah.
Or is a lie. Maybe it's a lie. Not a myth, just a lie. Dishonesty.
One partner, maybe not, you know, because if I have one partner, I may really have one partner.
Yes.
But
does your partner have one partner?
So I always say one penis isn't equal to one vagina. Because the truth is, if my partner has two partners,
then I
have three partners. So we got to be careful with those. I only have one partner. And that's why I always say, protection has nothing really to do with your partner. You know, protection is an inside job. Only you could protect you.
Fact.
What about myths about birth control and emergency contraception?
That it doesn't work, and that it destroys your reproductive system, and that it leads to severe complications. Of course, we know that some contraceptives, everything has side effects.
Yes.
Every medication, all medication have side effects, but they are minimal. As such, they are safe to use. For example, let's say the IUCD, the what we call the coil, or they commonly call it here in Senki, the coil, that is you insected right inside of you, like a T shape. All right. Of course, it's a foreign body that is put inside your body, a foreign object that is put inside your body. Your body is trying to accept that and work with it. All right. So sometimes some persons can be predisposed to maybe yeast infection that can easily be treated, and after that the body get used to it. All right. Some person doesn't really work with them, so they have to take it out and look for other means of contraceptive to use. Right. With the safest, which is condom, of course. Even with condom, there are some latex and non-latex condoms. So whatever works for you, if the latex is working for you, use it. If the non-latex is working for you, then use it. It's about trying what works for you, but the myth about the fact that it will stop you from getting more children if you're ready, that is completely false. Although, as I said, there are side effects.
Yes.
All right, but it's minimal.
What do you think? You look like you're thinking hard.
I don't know. Again, there are a number of what the clients say are coming back. So you would tell me under what heading it falls under. It is not really a myth, but it is a misconception.
Yeah.
I'm safe because I am on the pill, I'm on the injection, and so they take that to feel as if they are safe.
From everything.
Yes, and so I have to remind them, because we have this poster. I was preventing pregnancy, but I got HIV. Yes, so whatever form of birth control you're on, whether it be the pill, the injection,
or the device,
IUD, we still are encouraging you to use the condom, because the rest could prevent pregnancy, but only the condom is known, well, along with abstinence, to prevent STIs.
Okay, we're going to take a short break right here, and then we will come back and continue tonight's conversation, so stay tuned. I just paused here because Lucine said you had to leave at 4.
Yeah, but what? It's fine. We're almost done, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So no.
Wait. Go ahead.
Well, what is the next question is that?
Myths about the health system.
Okay, and then?
And then some services that the system provides.
Okay.
And going forward, what can people incorporate into their regular practices to ensure their well-being?
Good. Sorry, are we in your trouble now? Next time I don't wear no clothes, don't bother you.
Yeah, you don't say so. I think you just trying to not wear no clothes. You don't need a reason, you know.
Of course, on TV. I do.
We're breaking barriers. So you can break all of that. Welcome back to Pleasure Pulse. I'm your host, Roma Richardson, and I'm joined by my guests here from the Ministry of Health. We have been talking about some of the physical, sexual health related outcomes of the post-Valentine's period. And so far, we've talked about things like STDs, myths around them, what people can do if they find that they may have made some mistakes or may have
risky behaviors.
Had some risky behaviors during or on Valentine's Day, which for lots of different reasons, I'm sure, is when you're caught up with love. You just love crazy.
Love is in the air.
Yeah. So we have talked about that. We've talked about some of the myths around birth control and emergency contraception as well. You started talking about it earlier, Lucine. myths around the health system, because all of this is happening in the health system, and I know people have a lot of misconceptions around what happens in the Ministry of Health, in clinics, and so on. Talk to me about some of those that you commonly hear directly, eavesdrop on, whatever, however you get them.
One of such is, I am not going to any health center. I am afraid to go for testing because the services are not confidential. And that's not only a myth, but it's a big fat lie. I have had clients who have confided in me that after they were diagnosed as HIV positive, that they had to hint a friend or a family member know. And it is unfortunate that when the news get out, that the first people that get the blame
Care providers
are those who really love their job. Yeah, so that is not true. Our providers are screened and trained and they are empowered to give the best service, especially in these very sensitive areas. So that's not true. However, you would have bypassed us because you didn't want to get tested and you didn't want word to get out that you're HIV positive. But the next time you find out, the next time the public might be hearing about you is when you're at the hospital dying of AIDS, and then everybody knows, because then we hear the talk up and down, because now everybody else know, your family know, then there is a list because you find that you have to inform persons. The best thing is to come now where we can find out that you're HIV positive, you would be on treatment, you would live a long, healthy life, and well on your way to staying clear of AIDS.
And one of the misinformation is that the system is not working. In other words, we have people that are passionate about their work. They're doing the best with whatever resources they made available onto them to work. You understand? And sometimes they experience discrimination and stigma, despite the fact that they're giving 110 actually to ensure that the people receive the best care they can give. And as such, they may not, in comparison, there's always a comparison. Or it's not like the States, or it's not like the UK, it's not like Canada or somewhere else. But what we have, we're using what we have to ensure that we provide the services. And guess what? Some of the services that we provide here in the Federation, it is free or of lesser cost compared to all these bigger countries that you have to pay thousands of US dollars to actually receive those services. So we need to learn to appreciate what we have. Yes, we're getting to a point where we're getting better and better, but we need to appreciate what we have and see that the persons that are working are doing their best, and they are putting all they can, and most of them have the passion to ensure that the services is received by the patients or by the clients in the best way they can receive it.
Another myth. Another myth, good doctor. I'm not going down there because these are things that they have to report, and my name will be down there with a red tick saying that I have the AIDS, and that's not true. When one is tested for HIV, we use a code. So you might find somebody's code is HC130207BHS. Who is that? And we don't put the exact place where you live, so we might put St. George's. Look how wide St. George's is. If you work for the government, we might just put civil servant. And on that form, there is no space for
the result.
So on that form, you never find positive or negative. It is on another form where you go to the same thing, just the code and the test used and the results. So we have made it so difficult for persons
Yeah.
to find out
Right.
who, yeah.
So people can take up, a record and be like, oh, this is
You will
this
never
person,
find out.
Right.
and also this is their status.
Right.
Right.
You
So
will
you'd
never
have to
find
be really intent on something like that, which I feel
And
like is
even
very
so, it's, yeah.
unlikely
Yeah.
Yes.
for health providers to find out something.
Yeah.
like
Another
that.
myth.
Yeah.
I am going to the health center, so I'm going to get a test, and Dr. Offrey will know, and Mrs. Vaughn will know because they work in the National Aid Secretariat. That's not true. Or I am going up by the Ministry of Health, I am going to get a test, and everybody in there will know because Dr. Ann Lucine and Miss Penny Feather works here. That's not true. When you come, one of us tests you. If you are positive, then we go to the same thing, and confidentiality applies to us also. So doctor doesn't know, who got tested, and I don't have to tell him your result. If we have a problem, then we can discuss in general. I had a client and this is the case, but no, we do not have to report to each other.
And also not the fact that you come to National Secretariat or in a health center, specifically you come in to do HIV test.
Right.
That's another myth.
Some persons just come just for counseling. Some come for
Education.
session or get some materials to help for their project, or help to educate their own children, or set an appointment to have a joint counseling session, or inviting us to their business places to have an education session. So many things we do that is beyond just the testing. So when you see somebody walking into the Ministry of Health or walking to the health in the community center, does not mean
Yeah.
Or
they
they
have
ask
issues.
for Dr. Offrey.
Yeah.
They come and say, oh, I'm coming to see Dr. Offrey. That means that, hey, you
Coming for a test.
you're coming to get test done, or you maybe have a concern, so you're an STI, you have to be screened. No, there are so many things we do at the National Aid Secretariat that is far beyond just screening, testing people.
Yes.
Another
And you don't
myth.
have to raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand.
I don't want to forget. Some people think that when we do contact tracing, and contact tracing simply means that if one is found to be positive, we have to ask, and who were your
Partners.
your partners. It does not mean that we will call them and say, look,
This person.
Dr. Offrey told me that he was with you. No, it's an anonymous process. We call you and say that we believe that you might have been exposed to, or in some very touchy cases, then we might just go out into a particular workplace for testing and see
Screen
if we
everybody.
can get your partner to get tested under the guise of just come and, So no, we are very protective of your information.
Yeah, and we take confidentiality very, very serious, and that's why not everybody is being trained, as STI screen or HIV testers, right? So we go through the process of interview, go through so many processes to ensure
the best of
that you
cream of the
are.
crop.
We actually pick out persons that are really truly ideal for this job, because we know the sensitivity that comes with this job. All right, so we ensure that confidentiality is top notch. We don't joke with that at all, and something that we push forward, and we want to make the public understand that your information is very private, as if you never said it to anybody, because we want to make sure, be open, be free, come to us, and we are there to ensure that you are safe and you receive the best care that you can receive.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying a lot of those misconceptions. Maybe I should just call them misconceptions. And as usual, we are winding down. So I'm going to have to skip some of my questions, but just focusing on advice now. Going forward, because Valentine's, it don't happen. Whatever happened then, we have to deal with it. Going forward, what can people incorporate into their daily lives, their regular routines, their practices around contraception and so on to help to ensure their well-being?
Study, get some more information. We have smartphones, we have access to internet these days. People should do some research, find out for yourself, get more information, and also you can go to the health centers or to the National Secretary or any of the health outlets or sites and ask for information, and they will provide and actually counsel you adequately on how to protect yourself, what you need to do, and also diets as well. In fact, we have a nutritionist, we have an NCD coordinator that deals with that NCD aspect. So we have a collective, we have focal points in every aspect to actually address every health issue. And so you just come in, you come in and you're getting every information that you truly need in all ramifications to ensure that and it is free, which you don't usually get that in other countries. It is free. That's why a big kudos to the Minister of Health, a big kudos to the government for what they are doing and ensuring that the continuity of services that we provide to the public is of standard, and also it is available, accessible, and free.
Well, I would like to end by saying I believe in what our elders always say: an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, and the prevention of HIV is as easy as ABC. A, abstinence. B, be faithful. C, you have to practice correct, consistent condom use. D, do the test. It's free. Health centers, National Aid Secretariat, outpatients. E, educate yourself, as Dr. just said. And finally, F, we are going to fight stigma and discrimination, because that has proven to be one of the fuels for HIV transmission. And we would like to come back where we can really speak about stigma and discrimination.
Absolutely.
And how we can fight that.
You're always welcome, and that's an important conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Pleasure Pulse. Thank you to my guests who have been patient and worked with us through this different way of approaching our usual Tuesday night shows. As usual, I wish you all a pleasurable evening, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye. Okay. No more.